Well, thank you for that warm introduction, and if you weren't already awake, I think that presentation before definitely woke me up, so thank you very much for that. And thank you all for being here so early in the morning. The early bird definitely does get the worm today. Through this presentation, I just wanted to cover off on a few things. More importantly, everything in this presentation is publicly available information. It is found on our website. This presentation is also available on the ASX platform today. And in reference to all our announcements we'll be talking through, they're just on the right-hand side there, as you can go through them as well at home. To talk about FBM, who we really are, we're a battery minerals company with two key assets that we've already discovered, and we're methodically going through a systematic drill program proving up them as resources. But for today, the major asset and our flagship I'll be speaking to is our Kangaroo Hills lithium project. As introduced, that's a high-grade, thick lithium-bearing pegmatite in the strategic goldfields area. To talk about the history of the company, it actually was formerly a nickel exploration company with a number of nickel assets, three of which had mineral resources. Late in 2022, the company was doing nickel-targeted drilling in the northern part of their Kangaroo Hills project, which is in the south, their Nepean nickel project. Drilling these targets, they actually intercepted some pegmatites that were grading 1.3, 1.4%. And very quickly, and credit to the team in pivoting and looking at what that potential was, rapidly did exploration on the ground, and by March had already come out with assays proving up what is the discovery of Kangaroo Hills with 29 metres at 1.36% from 38 metres. But really the management team and the company more broadly is focused on is rapidly developing and working the ground that we have quite methodically and through our experience in lithium, proving up what we see as quite tangible assets moving forward. Concurrently with that, we actually acquired the Nevada lithium project, and same again, found that the region was prospective, undertook a drilling program and made the discovery there. And really where we are today is looking at the year ahead is we've got two mineral resources on two high-grade prospective lithium projects in two tier 1 jurisdictions. To talk about the company corporately, again, there's our share price at around about 5.5 cents today. Market capitalisation circa $30 million. We have $3 million in the bank, but also when we, last year, we actually sold our Nepean nickel asset for $10 million cash spread across 4 milestone payments. First one of which we received late last year, second one we received in May, and the next two to come 6 months thereafter. Really what that does is takes us off from raising capital for the project primarily, and particularly helps us fund all our exploration on our projects for the year ahead. Composition of the share registry. Look, we do have a large shareholding, or a portion of it, with board and management that was acquired more recently. We have a number of strategic investors, but in particular Hancock came on our share registry last year and again have been very supportive of our journey, proving up our project, primarily Kangaroo Hills, for this year. Funnily enough, with all lithium companies, have gone through the highs and the lows, and myself been through the cycles before. We really are kind of coming to the lows, and you'll see on the share price, it's actually down at the same point as we were before discovering the lithium project. So it's quite an interesting time for investors to be looking back at lithium. Behind every company, you really have to look at the people who are running it and how you're trusting them with your money. With our board and management team, it's really encompassing experience in the goldfields, experience in resources, not only exploration but also development, and again, particularly experience in lithium. To start with our chairman, Mike Edwards, he's, again, 25 years experience as a geologist by training and economist, sits on a number of successful gold exploration companies, and you would have seen more recently one of his companies, Greenstone, a proposed merger with Horizon Minerals. So very experienced chairman in the ASX space. Myself and my background, I'm purely lithium, so I've been in the lithium industry for a number of years, since 2018. Worked on 5 lithium projects, 2 of which are now in production, and 2 that are at resource stage, and very excited for Kangaroo Hills to be the next one. To talk about the technical director, Robin Cox, he's actually the gentleman who discovered both assets, but has made quite a number of other discoveries in uranium and gold and nickel. So Robin's a great, I guess, part of the team, a critical part of the team, and has been with the company for 4 years, so really led the transition of the company to where it is today. More recently, with probably late November, with myself joining in October, we were lucky enough to attract Nev Powell, a very experienced director and executive, primarily for his knowledge and history of leading Fortescue as CEO, with his 8-year tenure there, tripling the production of Fortescue and really building it to what it is. So kudos to securing Nev, and he's been a critical part for us, again, as we transition through exploration and in the years ahead through to development. And Sylvia Morton, an experienced CFO and COSEC. So across the board, a very tight team. It's not a large company with a lot of employees. We're quite a tight-run team, and again, accountability across the board. To touch on Kangaroo Hills, it is 100% owned. We acquired the balance, the 20% of the project last year, and that's our corporate who sits on our register. We gave them script at us, called Lodestar Resources, a small gold company. And really where we are, we're situated in one of the best areas you could be for a project, not only for lithium, but in general. 17 k's south of Coolgardie, sealed road to site, within a stone's throw distance to other lithium, one resources, but two operating assets. But the access to infrastructure is really critical, particularly when you're looking to develop a project. So not only having the value in the ground, but getting it out of the ground. And really for us, and what we see and we take credit from and take comfort in, is we really have a high-grade, near-surface, shallow-dipping pegmatite. And I'll touch on a bit further, but we've uncovered more in the area, and something that we're really looking to do in a methodical, sort of systematic approach over the year ahead. To talk about the discovery itself, you can see there on the left-hand side, we do have consistent hits of high-grade intercepts and thickness on the big red. That's the darker red outline, and continuation there. But importantly, what we did do is we actually drilled to the southern end of that tenure and that bit that discovered another lithium-bearing pegmatite that actually dips under big red. But you can see on the right-hand side, those drill holes are really in the centrepiece there with the call-out of those drill results. We really only scratched the surface of the tenure that we have, and for the year ahead is our plan, particularly to go north in what is the most prospective area as we continue to sort of chase big red along its strike there. But if you look on the left-hand side, the main thing to call out there, besides the outcropping in the pink, you'll see scattered across the tenure, is also those big blue sort of formations, and that's actually our resistivity targets. And resistivity, the testing of the non-magnetic material on our tenure, has been a really good predictor for where these pegmatites have been. And that's been supported as we only did this survey in December and then went back and checked our drill results, and it's mimicked exactly where the mineralisation and the pegmatites have been. So as you can see in the northern part, something that we've really only scratched the surface of what this project has to offer. To give you a bit of a visualisation of the two pegmatites and how they track, you can see big red, continues to extend to the north, but actually both of them do, Rocky and big red, and that's what gives us a lot of confidence around potentially a bigger system and a bit of a feeder system as we go north. And the important thing to call out there is that big red, you can see, is very shallow dipping. So it's at an angle about 30 degrees that we know so far. And what that really gives us confidence in is how amenable it is to open pit mining. Something that puts us, when we get to that point in the study phase, at the lower end of the cost curve, at the lower the strip ratio. But what Rocky does is it ties together another system. It proves there's a stack system occurring, particularly as we go north, and it really does add a bit of size to what the scale of the project can be due to its proximity to Big Red. As I touched on, the most prospective area that we have is our northern tenure, and that's really what we've looked to target and really maximise the value in, geologically speaking, for the year ahead in a systematic approach. First stepping out, what we see and what we know at Big Red, that's what we're very focused on, of continuing that particular pegmatite. But In terms of all our northern targets, which are Western Grey, Big Red North, Big Red West, Whiptail and Quokka, they all have exceptional prospectivity as well due to historical drilling that we've got confirmed that there's mineralisation in them, but also rock chips and surfeit outcropping. So as we say, targets, there can be quite a big spread of what determines a target, but for us, we've sort of confirmed these all as very drill-ready targets for the year ahead. It'd be remiss of me as a project developer in the lithium space to not talk about metallurgy. You can have a lot of tonnes, but if you can't extract it and sell it, it does become quite challenging. And really what we did as a business is late last year undertake a metallurgical program, and we've just got those results earlier this month that confirm one, spodumene dominant mineralisation, circa 90%. But more importantly, we undertook a raft of metallurgical pathways that proved that we can use conventional methods, being DMS, and froth flotation to economically recover the lithium and the spodumene out of that area. So really, the year ahead and what we're doing is once we've done all the geological testing of our targets, trying to maximise the size of the project, at the back end, really look to undertake another metallurgical project, look at variability and see how we can start to wrap our head around the economics and move into a study phase with the project. But the important there is the amenability of DMS, which comes at a great advantage due to economic benchmarks and measures being operational cost reduction, capital cost reduction, but also the use of water and other non-financial metrics that really make your project more attractive. Quickly, just to touch on Nevada, again, it's an 80% owned project. We're really situated in quite an interesting area where we're the last one to come up with a resource. So 3 of our peers that all are contiguous to us all have mineral resources already, and in particular, American Lithium and ABTC have already entered the study phase and development phase of their project. So the main reason for Nevada that we saw is it's a mining-friendly state and jurisdiction, but more importantly, there's downstream investment in the province, and also the peers in the area who have already done the hard yards of proving that these processes can work and now moving them into development. The IRA really sort of backs that up. Obviously, questions of how that looks moving forward, but some of our peers have already received tens of millions of dollars of funding for their projects that are just slightly more advanced than us. So it does open up a whole other opportunity there to advance projects with non-diluted capital that can help progress this asset moving forward. Talking about the geology and what we've discovered there is we've uncovered and we've proven that we've hit the thicknesses and the size of intercepts that are comparable or better than our local peers, but also the grade, which is quite critical in lithium claystones or sediments. But more importantly, we've really found that it's a near-surface part of the area. So if we go back to the map, we know that our peers to the east do have resources, although they're much deeper, and we're finding that we're sort of the one slightly higher grade, but more importantly, near-surface part of that basin that makes it quite attractive. And if you look on the right-hand side on the diagram there, you'll see the bottom section, the Lone Mountain. There's a few highlighted green holes there. That's really what we're currently doing the drilling on and waiting on results imminently on there to finish off the drilling for the resource. But what we're seeing in that basin is that as we continue to head south in Lone Mountain, it does come up surface, and we've already seen the seabed formation at surface. So again, a really highly attractive and high value part of our ground, but also the basin. So maiden mineral resource coming out before the end of this quarter. And they're just a bit of a comparison to our peers, particularly ABTC and American Lithium. It is a proven area. They're going through development, and really we're sort of riding on the coattails of them at this stage. Thank you for the closeout. To sort of cover off on the company investment highlights, we've got 2 exciting new lithium discoveries. In particular, Kangaroo Hills. For the year ahead, we've got a systematic drill program looking not only extend Big Red that we already know is mineralised and looks very, very attractive, but also to test our northern targets to grow the size of that project with a maiden mineral resource target at end of this year and Nevada mineral resource coming out this year. So a few catalysts for the company moving forward. That's all. Thank you so much.
you.